The opening match was Twinkle Toes McFinger Bang against Adam Page for the #1 contendership for the AEW title. And before they rang the bell, I wrote, so there will be nothing left after this match for anyone else to do or the fans to care about. And that's pretty much, as we'll see, what happened. Go ahead.
To a point, I agree with you. However, I don't think this was the match that, I don't know if took the fans out of it's the right term, or quieted the fans down.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they started a trend here that by the time that everybody else got finished, there was less and less for anybody to fucking do. But I mean, as far as individually critiquing this match, are you just going to jump all over me, or would you like me to dig in on something?
No, please. Dig in.
Yeah, dig in. Take that and dig it right in there. Let me ask you some questions. Except for the most informed of AEW fans, right? Let's say it like that. If somebody has just watched the show on TNT and found this new company called AEW and hadn't seen most of these wrestlers before, unless a few of the WWE names, and they saw this event advertised and they bought the pay-per-view, when they see Kenny Olivier's entrance, do they think that it's a parody of something, but they don't know what it is, so they feel bad?
You know, we've said it before. I'm not as negative as you are about Omega. But with that said, having him come out and be this New Japan heel again, I think that's better than what he's been doing. But the girls with the brooms is the stupidest thing. Well, I shouldn't even say that. There's so much stupid stuff. It's one of the stupidest things on this show, and it looks low rent to me. Just the two girls standing there with the brooms. I mean, I like him.
And they're not even stylized showbiz brooms with glitter. They're fucking brooms.
Yeah, they're Home Depot brooms.
And Jim Ross asked Don Callis the question, what's the fuck the deal with the brooms and the whole cleaner thing? Asked him straight out to explain it, and Don answered a different question than was answered and started talking about video games.
If he's so into cleaning, they should do the made for a day angle.
There you go. Hey, maybe he would look more intimidating in a French maid outfit. If you dressed Kenny Olivier up like Fifi, you've got a badass there. So, but the entrance is supposed to get heel heat because they're overly praising him in this big build up, and it's obviously supposed to be obnoxious, right?
I don't know.
We're going.
Let me stop you there, because I think that's what it should be, and that's the way I take it. But I get the feeling that's not the way AEW takes it, because again, they live in a world where there's no heels and there's no baby faces, just weirdos.
But anybody watching that would think, well, this fucking asshole, that's the whole design. It's been done by heels before, this exact same thing to make people mad.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. And in my world, in my eyes, Kenny Omega's clearly the heel. But I don't know if it's that way to their fans, based on the reaction he got from some of those people in the crowd.
Well, okay, well, let's go into that, because after the entrance of the heel that nobody hates, here comes the drunken, nervous, irresponsible babyface that nobody likes, Adam Page. And isn't this supposed to be elevating him to the singles championship level? Isn't that what we've always seen a lot in Page, despite of himself, the things he likes to do and wants to do sometimes. He's a good-looking guy and a good talent and fucking et cetera, et cetera. We put him over, except for most of the matches he has, because there was people like this. But they portrayed him as he was the guy that actually screwed Kenny Olivier out of the tag team belts that they had when they were partners, when he interfered in the finish. So it looked like he was going to be the heel, but then suddenly Olivier comes out with all this goofiness and the dancing girls and the overblown entrance, and he was a heel on television making obnoxious faces and beating people up after the bell.
And the Sonny Kiss match, where he just disingenuously, after the match, after he squashed Sonny Kiss, was patting him on the back and raising his hand, and yeah.
But then there was the other guy that he beat, and then he was kicking the shit out of him afterwards, and had to pull him off and it looked rotten. So then Olivier, the heel that was doing all those things, offers the babyface, the drunken babyface, it's depressed, a handshake, and the babyface blew it off. So I'm completely wondering who the fuck am I supposed to be cheering for here, because both of these gentlemen seem somewhat pathetic and probably need some counseling. So then Olivier did all of his finger pointing and tap dancing. I was trying to follow it. They did moves to each other back and forth, and then they fought on the floor. At one point, and the announcers mentioned it. Look at Kenny. He's talking. He was talking to himself and making ridiculous faces. And I don't know why, but I wrote, nobody's cheating. So who do we cheer for? I like Adam Page is a good worker physically. I've mentioned that he does strange things. It's related to working with a lot of these outlaw guys, probably, but physically he does he performs work very well, and he's a good-looking athlete. And I want to like him every time, but I cannot unsee Twinkle Toes' weird ballet dancer movements, no matter what I do. And it's obvious that he was calling this match because it was moves back and forth with no pretense of making sense out of it, except in weird ways. The whole thing falls apart logically as a fight or a contest, but then he'll do something that the internet nerds will say, well, that calls back to his match with Okada in 2017. But his basics are so shitty, and the weird movement and faces that he made, you can't buy it as a struggle. It's a performance. That Page gave him a pop-up power bomb on the ramp, the wooden ramp with no give, and he took flat back fucking bump. And then rolled him in the ring and gave him another one and got a 2 count. If I had ever had a guy in, well, I won't say this because I wouldn't have been so irresponsible as to have the guy take a bump like that. But if I ever had a guy stupid enough to take a bump like that in Smoky Mountain or in OVW or in Ring of Honor, a power bomb on a wooden ramp, I would have done an angle with it to lead to a match when he came back to get even from the fucking injury. Why just do that in a fucking match and then follow it up with a move in the ring and then get a 2 count? And then they've got twice as much match to go. Then go back, folks. I know many of you don't watch these things until after we talk about them, or sometimes it's you watch them again so you can know what to look for after the powerbomb spot I just talked about. They then start trading punches, and Twinkle Toes starts throwing phony-looking punches and making the most ridiculous, phony constipation faces. Like, my God, he just can't squeeze that thing out. It was the worst 1-2 exchange, the 1-2, 1-2, with the guy standing trading in the middle of the ring I've ever fucking seen. And he won't stop making those fucking faces. Then Twinkle Toes hits a double-arm chicken wing pile driver that looked great, 2 count. And then he made some more faces and pointed some more fingers. Within 25 seconds of the pile driver that looked so good that he just took, Adam Page was back up and coming back, flipping and landing on his feet and good as new. Did you see that part, Brian?
I saw that part.
So then suddenly, like I said, both these guys have already done 2 hospitalization angles. And now Olivier's firing up. And he gives fucking Page his Snapdragon suplex, or what is it, the Petuniaplex, or whatever. And Page takes it, bounces right to his feet, clotheslines Olivier for a flip, and then picked him up and dropped him straight on his head for a 2 count. I wrote at this point, if 2 guys who were really well-conditioned athletes had been in wrestling school for 6 weeks, and you told them to have a match, this is the match they'd have. I think they have ruined Adam Page for ever understanding how to have a fucking match and work like a fucking top guy at this point ever. And then I noticed something else that I don't like about McFingerbang's work. I use work in quotation marks. I saw this when I saw him for the first time in Ring of Honor in 2006. And everybody was, oh, look at this guy. Have you noticed that he does this constantly? It's not just a one-time thing or even a once in a match. It's constantly. he will constantly turn his back on his opponent and like rev up like a cartoon run and run all the way across the ring to hit the ropes and be surprised when he's coming back and the guy comes back and does something to him or whatever, or even if he doesn't. He turns his back on the guy that he's fighting when he's only a couple of feet away from him and then runs and comes back and is surprised that he's not able to just run this guy over that had all this time to watch him run 20 feet away from him first. Am I communicating that? Turns his back on everybody.
I think he did that within the first couple of minutes of the match.
Yes.
Where he punches the ground to make some noise, yes. And then he kind of revs up, like you said, and then he runs the opposite direction.
Oh, no. On the first one was his big swan dive. So he not only runs 20 feet away from the guy before he comes back toward him, but in that case, he ran toward the guy first and hit those ropes, and then ran all the way back across the ring the other way, hit those ropes, and then ran all the way across the ring again and expected the guy, which of course he was, to be there when he fucking dove over the top.
I like when he goes for the knee and he misses and it just looks like he's skipping.
Well,
because he's got two hands in the air and he lifts the one knee up and he hops.
I just thought he was happy. Anyway, so then suddenly Paige goes for the buckshot lariat, but Olivier ducks it. Olivier hits him with two of those little knee lifts and the one-winged fairy, which he had to fight for, like that's somehow going to save Paige in this atmosphere. Boom, hits him with it, 1, 2, 3. What the fuck? He just beat Adam Page flat in the ring, clean with his finish. And the heel, quote unquote, won clean over the drunk babyface. And I got news for you. For that locker room full of Japanese wrestling nerds. I don't care if they like it in a Tokyo Dome. You don't beat a top babyface clean, especially if you're a heel, if you are, or if you're another top babyface, then he still needs a fucking out, even if you didn't do it on purpose. So now they're going to push his fucking twinkle toes down our throats as the number one title contender or potentially next champion or whatever, and there's poor Adam Page. Thanks for coming. That worked out real well. What'd you think?
Well, I think in terms of the finish, I liked the finish as it was, but to what you're saying, and I'm not saying this is necessarily the right philosophy you should have, the way I take it is they're clearly setting up after over a year, the Elite are going to have the titles. I would put money on Omega's going to beat Moxley and get that world championship. And I think in their minds, this sets up Adam Page for Kenny Omega. And one of the big stories is that no one has ever kicked out of the one-winged angel. And I think Adam Page, he didn't kick out of the one-winged angel. And once Kenny's champion, they're going to start building up Adam Page again for him. And I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Page is the one who eventually takes the belt off Kenny, kicking out of the one-winged angel, based off this match. I'm not saying any of this is the proper booking logic you should use, but I've been watching enough AEW that I think...
Actually, no, that actually, I do not scoff here, and I'm telling you the truth. That actually would be a great fucking long-term, that's a St. Louis-style story.
I think that's what they're doing.
The problem is, this ain't St. Louis-style talent, or at least the way they're being presented. You have to care about people first. And sure, they're the same audience they have for whatever else they're doing will care about that. And nobody else will, because nobody's going to care about them because they are so... No casual wrestling fan can watch this show. I'm just sorry. I'm just giving it. No casual wrestling fan that just liked pro wrestling can watch this fucking program and not be insulted.
This wasn't even the insulting segment on the show.
I'm getting there.
Beyond what you think of Omega, I personally thought, and again, I don't necessarily agree with the way they frame things, the babyface, the heel, but I thought this was a really good opening match. I liked the match. I wasn't as crazy about it as some people were. I saw some people thinking it was just fantastic. I thought it was good, maybe really good. I like the finish. But, in terms of casual fans, I don't think they care about casual fans. I think this is a company.
We're not even going to try.
I don't think they're going to try. I think this is a company that's targeted directly towards the hardcore wrestling fans who are primarily all that's left. And you say this isn't St. Louis wrestling. I think to a lot of these people, Tony Khan is the Sam Mushnick of the shut-ins. Because I think he's a horrible booker. But I recently heard an interview with him, and I could tell you, if we think he's a horrible booker, he certainly thinks the very opposite. And this is a targeted wrestling promotion towards fans that are predisposed to like this kind of wrestling. It's not about casual fans or getting new people in. It's about taking the people you have and making them happy and hoping they don't go.
They could do better shit and still keep anybody happy.
I completely agree. I think
if they're happy with this, they'd be happy if you did it right.
I completely agree. But again, with this show, off the top of my head, I'm thinking, I can think of 3 other segments or matches that were completely embarrassing. This isn't one of them. I'm
not saying that. No, it wasn't embarrassing. It's just stupid, and I can't believe that they're spending their time trying to get anybody to care about the ballet dancer. But
it's their fans. It wasn't. The people who already care about Kenny Omega care. I'm not saying anyone new is going to care, but I think their hope is that they can spend a year, give or take, getting people to care about Adam Page, so that when he wins the title from Kenny, and they'll play up the story of them being the tag team, and you don't know what you got until it's gone, and he lost to the one-winged angel, and he's going to have to redeem himself. The interesting thing is, when Adam Page finally gets the title from Omega, and Adam Page finally redeems himself, will part of the gimmick be that he is sobered up? That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Will it be, you know what? I got to clean my life up. I'm going to stop drinking, and I'm going to get that AEW title.
All I'm saying is, once in a while, you need somebody new to take a taste of your product. That's how you expand. Now, I can understand the first person that ever ate cooked beef. I could say a fucking lightning bolt hits a goddamn buffalo in prehistoric times, and a caveman smells that beef cooking and says, takes a bite of it. I can see that. Now, the motherfucker that ate the first egg, he's a brave son of a bitch, but you got to get somebody to taste something new every once in a while.
But they're not going to taste it new on the pay-per-view. The people who like the taste are the people buying the pay-per-view.
Well, then I'm about to get into a different situation with that. Then, yes, when people paid for this, there's an extra responsibility.